Dear teachers, my name's Jangil. Welcome to our Lingua T Club. Before we start our lesson, I want you to recall one of your grammar lessons and answer the following questions. What grammar topic did you teach? How did you teach it? And did you as a teacher have any problems? What about pupils? Today, I'll show how we may guide our students to learn and practice the past simple negative. Please note that we will do pair work and group work with pretend students to have more interaction and practice. Hello boys and girls, how are you today? Do you feel like turning back the hands of time and visit the village of the old man and his 9 sons? You must remember them from the fairy tale we read last time. Is it interesting for you to see how they changed? Did they really stop fighting like it was stated in the end of the story? By the way, do you know what it means to turn back the hands of time? It means to go to the past and possibly to do things differently. Would you like to turn back the hands of time and change the story? You will have a chance, but a bit later. Now let's look through the fairy tale again. Can you find negative forms of the past simple in the text and highlight them? Now, can you read the words you found in the text, and I will write them on the board. Okay, boys and girls, can you tell me, is a fairy tale a story of the past? Yes. Do the old man and his 9 sons live now? No. Can you recall why was the old man upset? Correct, because his 9 sons didn't listen to each other and always fought with each other. Do you remember what happens when the old man taught his sons a lesson with the help of the twig? Yes, they didn't fight with each other and lived happily. Now, repeat after me. Didn't listen. Didn't fight. Didn't break. Okay, boys and girls, can you tell me what's the full form of didn't? Right, did not. And what comes after didn't? Right, verb. Okay, which form of the verb do we use after didn't? Yes, the first form. When I say brothers didn't listen to each other, is it a positive statement? No. Is it a negative statement? Yes. Was it true in the past or in the present? Right, in the past. So today's grammar topic is past simple negative. Now let's do this exercise. Read the sentences and make negative sentences in the past simple. It's time to work with your friend now and compare your answers. Now, let's check your answers all together. Gulcan drank coffee. Gulcan didn't drink milk. My mother did the washing up. My mother didn't do morning exercise. Kairat broke his leg. Kairat didn't break his arm. I made a cup of tea. I didn't make a cake. Okay, now work with your friend again and tell each other what people didn't do 300 years ago. For example, they didn't listen to pop music. Now count from 1 to 3. Ones will work together, the second group gather, and the third group, you will work together. Now, choose one of the following beginnings of the fairy tale. Now, stand up everyone and make 3 circles with people who are in your group. Do you remember the title of the fairy tale? It's a famous Kyrgyz proverb. Our strength is in our unity. Now we have 3 groups. Remember, only when you work together, you are a team. Everybody is important in the team. All right, catch these notes. Guess, what are you going to do with them? One person catches the knot, says a sentence, and takes the end of the thread and circle it along the finger. Then he or she passes the thread to another student. For example, in olden times, there lived a Khan who had 3 sons. The old man was very happy because his sons listened to each other. Catch the knot. Now, class, take a chance to turn back the hands of time and make up your own stories. By the way, will you make up your fairy tale in past simple? Yes. Will you use positive form or negative form? Correct, both of them. Can you tie the thread along your finger before saying the sentence? No. Can you miss your turn? No, it's a teamwork. You are all together in this. Everybody's word is important. Now, tell your fairy tales to other groups. I hope that you enjoyed your classmates' fairy tales. For today, our lesson is over. For your homework, I want you to write your fairy tale using past simple negative. Goodbye, and I'll see you next time. Dear teachers, I'm glad to see you again. Please sit back, relax, and grab some tea if you wish. And let's discuss my demo lesson. You may recall I asked you to think about your last grammar lesson and how you taught it. After watching the demo lesson, did you find any similar techniques or methods that you also use in your lesson? If not, did you pay attention to how I presented the grammar? In my lesson, I used the fairy tale to introduce the past simple negative. Do you remember the first task I gave students? I asked them to find negative forms of the past simple in the text. When they found examples, I also asked them to read them aloud for me to write that on the board. Then I asked the class some questions. I asked whether this fairy tale tells the story of the past and why the old man was upset. Why did I ask these questions? Right, to make sure students understand that we were talking about the past. So please ask good questions to encourage students notice the language and practice it. Then I started drilling phrases with pretend students. Did you pay attention to how I did it? First, I asked one student to repeat after me. Then I started drilling the phrases with pretend students. Drilling is very important because correct pronunciation is a key to successful communication. So after working with meaning and pronunciation, I worked on the form. Do you remember what kind of questions I asked? Yes, I made sure my students recognize the long form of didn't and know that we use the first form of the verb in the past simple negative. So let's sum up the points we discussed. Teacher acts as a guide and helps students come to understanding the rules through practice. And always ask good questions about the form and the meaning of the target structure to raise students' comprehension. I hope this lesson was useful for you and that you can adapt some of my ideas to your teaching. Goodbye, and I'll see you next time.